Hey everybody, welcome to our Need for Speed Rivals review. I'm Nick Pino, and I played the game.
And I'm Hollander Cooper, and I haven't, so I have a few questions about it as a Need for Speed and Burnout fan.
Okay, I'm ready.
So, not developed by Criterion directly, it's made by Ghost Games. So
Yes.
who is Ghost? Is it Criterion? Is it one of those weird EA things where they're calling multiple studios different names or weird stuff?
So Ghost Games is the new EA-owned developer on Need for Speed Rivals, and they're kind of taking over the development of Need for Speed from Criterion.
So no more Burnout developer is not directly on this anymore.
Right. It's kind of the studio's first showing. It's their first game.
Okay.
And for a first game, it's actually pretty fantastic.
The last few Need for Speed games have felt like Burnout games. Do these still feel like that, or is it more like a traditional Need for Speed game?
So no, we're totally still in that Burnout phase of the game. We're crashing into cars are flying across the screens. So yeah, you're still totally getting that Burnout-like experience of cops versus racers.
So what makes this one different than the last two, though?
You've got this open, persistent world of Redview. So Redview has all these different races and challenges and rivals and jumps, and there's just so much to this world.
So when you say that it has rivals, what are rivals?
So rivals are basically other racers who are challenging. If you're a cop, they're challenging your dominance, and if you're a racer, then they're kind of challenging you to push yourself to do better.
Cool. And was there anything specific that stood out about this one? Each Need for Speed / Burnout has its own thing. Is it the rival system, or is it something different that made this one unique?
The environment made a lot of the game for me.
Really?
Beautiful weather patterns that are changing. I'm doing one race and there's a giant rainstorm that's making it really hard to get ahead of my opponents. The next race is going to be sunny and beautiful, and the lighting effects on the PlayStation 4 are incredible.
Yeah, you mentioned the PlayStation 4. I saw it on there. It looks like the particles are crazy, too. Just stuff flying at your screen. Were there any other next-gen improvements that you noticed in there?
So, as much as I thought this game was beautiful and pretty, it's also a crossover game. So maybe it doesn't look as beautiful as like a Killzone, but this game still looks really good on next gen. And you're right, with those particle physics, it really takes it to a whole new level.
Like a cool sense of speed.
Absolutely.
Looks like. Were there any issues you had with it?
The game isn't great with its like sense of direction. I was constantly like going down this track, and while other games will give you these kind of like green arrows, Rivals does that, just not all the time, and certainly not when you need it. So if there's a fork in the road and you have to take one path to the finish line, well, Need for Speed Rivals doesn't always show you the way to go.
That's a shame. Is there any cool multiplayer stuff? Were you able to test with that at all?
So unfortunately, due to like the PlayStation 4 launching this week, we weren't able to get online to test out the latest all-drive mode and Autolog. But Autolog is making its return, and Autolog, for those who haven't seen it before, is basically a scoreboard. It's an online leaderboard for you and your friends. So if Coop, you and I are racing, and you beat my score,
which I'm going to,
then I will be notified instantly and given the chance to break your score, to break your record.
Cool. And do you know what the All Drive is going to be like? I feel like they've talked about it a lot.
Absolutely. So All Drive is this kind of cross between an MMO and a racing game. It's a persistent world where players are constantly dropping in and out of your game, and you're just challenging them to races all the time.
Cool, like it's not only persistent for you, but it's persistent with others jumping in and out.
Absolutely. And so this kind of works with the in-game currency called speed points. So as a racer, you're acquiring these.
They really didn't think very hard to
No,
figure
it's
out
just
that
just a speed point.
What's the first thing we got? Speed points? All right, let's go to lunch.
They're points. They're about speed. We got it.
We got it. Moving on.
As a racer, you're acquiring these speed points, and while you're doing so, for winning races, for shunting rivals, the better you're doing and the more points you're getting, it's going to raise this heat level, and the police are going to be notified to that, and they're going to come after you.
Awesome. So is it worth getting for next gen? Should you stick with current gen? Should you wait for the next Criterion game? What's your overall opinion on that?
So I'd say there's 3 groups of people that Need for Speed Rivals is definitely for. If you're a PS4 owner and you're looking to get a great racing game, and Drive Club has been delayed a little bit, this is for you. If you're a current gen holdout and you're kind of just waiting for a great racing game, also for you. And if you're an arcade racing fan, absolutely pick up Rivals. Basically, the only people I would say hold off on, if you've got an Xbox One or you're more of a simulation racer, you won't find deep engine customization screens here. You basically start at 60 miles an hour and only go up from there. So it's definitely not for the simulation racing fans out there.
So what'd you end up scoring it?
I gave it a 3.5. I think it's a solid racer and a good first showing for Ghost Games.
Awesome, cool. And you can check out the full review and plenty of other cool coverage on GamesRadar.com.